Okay, you're rolling?
Yep.
Alright, so we're sitting here with Kozi, the writer, director, producer of Idiots Kill. Just a couple of quick questions for you. Where did this concept come from? Like, initially, from the outset, when you first sat down and started putting pen to page, where did these characters emerge from? Where did this concept come from? How would you possibly consider a story about the world's most inept assassins as a pilot and as a short film standalone in its own right?
That's funny. I originally wanted something for me, add to my reel, and so the character that Lonnie Finley plays, TT, that was supposed to be my character. So I kind of just had this thing of there wasn't going to be a lot of dialogue. It was kind of like the opening scene. It was going to be about this guy trying to fix a murder he had just did, and he's just bumbling around. It wasn't going to be a lot of dialogue, which is going to be like a couple different locations and this and that, and he was an alcoholic. But then I got to thinking about, because it was getting funnier and funnier to me, and so I was like, it'd be really cool if there's, some friends or something like that, And so it was funny, I don't remember why I was still living here in LA, but I remember I was back home, and I came up with the character that you played. I came up with Dapper. And I remember writing it, and you just came in my head. And I'm writing, I was literally laughing out loud in this cafe. And I texted you, I don't know if you remember, I texted you, and I was like, I've got this part for this short I'm gonna do, and you're the only one that's gonna play it. You're the only one who can play it. You can't say no. And then you text me back, you're like, well, stop yelling at me, okay? I'm gonna remember like that. So then that character came, and then yeah, it just kind of went. Then it just needed more. So it was kind of like I kind of wrote it almost just as separate characters, and then the story kind of came out of the characters because I had to glue it together.
Right.
So it was, but yeah, so I wrote it really, that's why those scenes, those kill scenes are so defined, because I was really just writing that specific character. And then the story itself kind of came just by how are these idiots, connected and whatnot. So yeah, that's the genesis of it.
Right, so I mean, basically what you managed to do was tell an individual origin story of 5 different characters in the context of one film project. So basically you've got 5 different characters, all with a very unique voice, a very unique background, a very unique presence. Each of them, by the way, has their own specialty in terms of their Assassin's Creed or whatever.
Right.
How did you then come up with the glue to kind of pull it all together? Clearly, Boss, Elvis's character, is the one who unites everybody, because aside from the fact that they're all idiots and they're all assassins, there's not really a whole lot of common thread between them.
Right. Yeah, that was, I'm trying to think of when. I think he was after
Who's he?
Boss's character.
Yeah, just refer to each one by the character so you can get in and out of it.
Right, so Boss's character was probably after Dapper. And so that's when I knew I needed more characters.
Uh-huh.
So I had TT, I had Dapper, and I had him. And I thought for the sake of comedy, it was going to be a lot funnier with more of these really stupid people involved. So I came up with him in the bar scene with Ulysses Randolph.
Sure.
And then I took it from there. I still didn't come up with Italiano's character, the guy that was actually paying them for this big hit. That was a later character. So yeah, once I developed the character of Boss, then I knew I needed more killers, because he had that thing of getting overwhelmed, and just people are leaning on him for the past 20 years to get them the assassins they need, and he's kind of just got to be, once all the different hitmen were have their voice, then it was really easy to write because then you could go as ridiculous as you wanted to with it because they were so stupid. Then I could just throw in anything almost in my and so, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun and it was almost like too much. It was too fun. Like I could have just kept on going. Where it was like we wanted to film the thing for
Right.
unreasonable.
Well, and I think that's one thing to consider is at the outset you said it was going to be just kind of a project for you to star as this lead and you would do a couple of different locations, but then maybe it's ambition or maybe your own share of idiocy. It quickly spiraled out of control and it became this massive thing. I mean, it's almost a low budget, high concept project.
Right.
So after it was all said and done, and I don't know if you have these numbers in your head, how many locations did you shoot? How many different locations are listed in the script? Because obviously you had to double up some. We were doing some pieces where we would shoot 4 or 5 different scenes in one location. But
right.
all in all, just ballpark, how many locations were scripted?